Cheers. Scott Macbeth, Daniel Forsyth. It's a real family affair for you, this, Louise, and you were saying how Gina, your daughter's getting the bug again, and she's excited about this as well. But it was 2008 the last time you actually competed. I know you've done a few demo runs since then. Can we see you back out in a car anytime soon? Is this giving you the bug?
No. I'd say that because I'm far too old. I mean, these guys are super fit now. You keep them, they're well shaped. You know, in our day, it was just get into the car, drive it, but nowadays they're so fit. They're super athletes now.
I think that's a bit of mega modesty there from our 1990, the first ever British driver to achieve a World Rally title, and the first lady driver to ever win a national rally as well. I think that is the biggest bit of modesty you will hear today. Brad Cole there passed us 8th place overall going into this second day of the rally. The first B13 competitor had tyre issues on stage 1. A few of our drivers struggling to get their tyres up to temperature. Conversely, Adrian Formo there in the works car on his hard tyres. No problems there for him. Warning lights on stage 2 as well as he caught a car. We're giving Brad Cole a few issues. William Hill's been going well. He caught a car through the first way of the stage, had to follow the car for about first half of the stage. First in B14, 9th place overall, and they're coming thick and fast there. There's John Stone. Laura Connell fairly happy with how things were last night, struggling to see in the dark, needs to eat a few more carrots. Louise, you don't, in your day, that makes you sound older, that's a bit unfair, but in your day, you would drive these stages, you'd have night stages in quite a lot of rallies, and you'd rally long into the night in quite a lot of events. Now it's quite a rare thing, so it's science that they're not used to.
Oh, these are like sprint events. You know, you wake up in the morning, 8 o'clock, drive till about 4 o'clock, and that's it. In our day, it was 3 days. 3 days through the night, have one night's sleep, and then another 3 days. It was like a marathon. You know, it was so hard. But yeah, I mean, nowadays they're very rare do they drive at night, and I wasn't that good at night, but some people were just amazing. I don't know if they were what they ate, but they could see, and they drove very well. I think Malcolm Wilson was one of the best drivers I've known at night time. And he just took time off me. He was just eating away at me all the time, and I just couldn't do anything about it. But yeah, these events now, they're not so much run at night, so it's easy for everyone. Well, it's not easy, but it's better for everybody.
More of a spectacle than anything else to see the cars competing at night. You saw Stephen Petch, Michael Wilkinson through there in a Skoda. Before that, Darren Atkinson, a man who has been battling really hard for two-wheel drive on and has got really frustrated having caught a car last night. Simon Bowen as well caught a car in stage 1, then bashed his lamp pod off on stage 2. He came through with the lamp pod dangling and dancing around on the tarmac in front of the front bumper last night. It's not what you want. I think it was Laukkanen that came and did this event. We were talking to about that last night. Matt Jackson was talking. We were talking about this. Tapio Laukkanen came here, and the lamp pod ended up facing him after we went through into a field. Driving through these stages with your life in your face, the last thing you want.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can make silly mistakes, and these things do happen. But that's rallying. You know, I'd say that to everybody. You know, they've got to drive accordingly, and when they go off, well. It's big time, isn't it, nowadays, the speed that they're going. So, yeah.
Chris Ford through there, who again struggled with catching cars last night in the stage. We've got some really close battles going on here in the Protyre Motorsport Gate Asphalt Rally Championship, not least in B11, where Michael Harbour is leading at the moment by, well, just 0.2 of a second from Ollie Hunter. And you know, that one's going to play out today because this is two-wheel drive car weather. I mean, Louise, when the roads are like this, the pressure's on because there's no excuses, are there? You just got to go flat out.
Absolutely. This is perfect conditions. And two-wheel drive, these front-wheel drives, they just stick like glue. These are like electrics, aren't they, to watch them?
I think of this rally as, well, I just think of the Formula 2 cars. You see Joe McCann's Charlotte McDowell through here and, just bunny hopping that Impreza over the second of these famous jumps here in the Edsom stage. I think of this as Formula 2 country because that was my favourite era growing up of rallying, watching the sort of arm-splitting front-wheel drive cars bouncing around over here. And you were at the front of that period really with the Mark II Astra, and then you went four-wheel drive with the Sierra. But you say front-wheel drive cars on lanes like these, hanging onto the car as we see Jerry Fitzell and Mark Mason through in their Rothmans-esque Mark II. You can smell the brakes on that one. That car's been working hard.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. The car, two cars before that, you know, they're keeping their foot on the brake and just, you know, their left foot braking. So they've got three pedals, but they use 2 feet. One for the left is the brake, and one for the right is the accelerator, because they've got these paddle shift boxes now, and they don't really need the clutch. And people have got to understand that you have to take your foot off that brake, because your brakes get so hot that at the end of the stage they'll stop working, you know.
Yeah, in racing it's known as trail braking, isn't it, up to the corner, but on rallying you can't keep doing that for the stage because you haven't got the time to cool it off again.
No, absolutely not. And there's a couple last night that I saw the discs were red, you know, and I thought, oh, you need to get your you need to get your foot off that brake.
The rear discs on some of them, tellingly.
Yeah, when you're driving so fast like that, and the excitement, adrenaline, you never realise that you are actually resting your foot. Not putting pressure onto the brake, but it's just resting there, which is, you know, just keeping them warm. And that's not a good idea.
So Gordon Morrison and Mike Dixon through, and there's Johnny Mulholland and Leon Tracy. The Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship crews mixing ranks with the BRC this weekend, and it is a bumper and a pretty all-star entry actually here on the Beatson's Building Supplies Jim Clark Rally. It's round 4 of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship. And, as you can hear from the papers rustling, we've got pretty strong wind content. It is glorious conditions inside the car, as you see Will Rowland, who is our first historic car, I think, Paul Morris. Paul, just quickly come over, our championship coordinator, and a man again who knows these lanes very well from the Silly Sea. We were talking about Di Roberts and how last night James so quick in that Fiesta. It must be quite a ride for Di and other co-drivers as well. Talk us through what it's like from a co-driver's point of view.
Last night in the dark, it makes it a bit more difficult for the co-driver. It's hard to describe really from inside the car. But Di was rattling off the notes last night, and then apparently talking to Di this morning, James asked him a question, and there was just no way that he was going to answer that question at the speed they were covering the ground. But yeah, classic stages, classic roads here, fantastic rally.
Paul Morris, our championship coordinator and a very well-renowned co-driver in his own right. Archie Swinscoe, Jane Nicol there in B10. I think they're leading B10. They are leading B10 coming into day 2. A cracking performance so far in the championship from Archie in that little Opel Adam R2, and Paula, his mum, inside that R5 with David Wright that went so well on the Manx, and we were robbed of that battle going into the final part of day 2. Meaning that although deservedly, Callum Black did take victory without much of a fight towards the end of the day. As I say, it was deserved, he was there. But here we are, a couple of cars being caught in stage here. There's Kev Dunn, Sean Douglas in the Civic, being caught by a man who absolutely loves this rally, and you can tell from the way he drives that Peugeot 206. Des Campbell, Greg Forsyth in the Peugeot 206. It's the sort of rally, Louise, where if you know the stages, you don't need a front-running car necessarily to get a giant killing result. A Lotus Elise or Lotus Exige is an interesting one, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw it last night and I thought, oh, well, that's a new one. But anyway, he seemed to be pedalling on last night, great guns. And, you know, you were just saying before about Des Campbell, he's an absolute, he sets the world alight these days. And he knows these roads well, and he will be pushing this morning.
Is there a bit of a rally community around here? Do you all chat, local rally drivers and rally folk? Do you all have a bit of a community where you all have a bit of a catch-up?
No, not really, but we're all aware of what we do and where we drive and things. And we are massive supporters for each other because, you know, you've got Gary, you've got Ewan, you've got Dale, you've got loads and loads of people around. And this is like, we love it. We live breathing for this jump, you know, for rallying.
That is why I love coming to the borders of Scotland, whether it's for the Border Counties British Rally or the Jim Clark Rally. People around here love the sport and they're full of life. Sam Adams and Michael Johnston, a pair who in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship are also full of life. First in B12 here after that really impressive 7th overall finish. Just let that sink in that Escort on the Manx last time out. 15th on day 1 of the Manx, which was round 2 of the championship. 7th overall in that yellow Escort. They're 18th overall on the overall leaderboard at the minute in the Protyre Cruise. If you do want to check the results out, if you're wanting to have a look at the overall rally leaderboard as well as the Protyre Cruise, you can do that at djames.org or results.djames.org.uk if you search for Jim Clark Rally results. That will be one of the first results. Just a quick housekeeper mention, by the way, if you are coming out to spectate, it's great to see so many spectators, and the atmosphere on the stages so far has been wonderful. Please do check the website before you come out. The organisers work really hard to put a route together and put spectator places together that are both safe and entertaining for you, so please do follow them. There is a man who has been pushing so hard through the first 2 stages of this rally. Michael Harbour leads Class B11 by just 0.2 of a second from Ollie Hunter. And as you can see, last night I used Phil Bramill's line. He was disappointed with that. The hunter becomes the hunted. Well, the hunter is very much the hunter going into today's stages, because Ollie Hunter is 0.2 of a second behind Michael Harbour, and that felt like less than 30 seconds to me, although I'm not doing a Robbie Head. I haven't got my my split times out on an old Nokia. I should have an old Nokia 3310 just to have out and do a Robbie Head. They were days, weren't they? People like Robbie Head out here as well. There's some big names from this area.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these Mark II Escorts, you know. I remember when Ari Vatanen came up and did the Jim Clark, and you know, the noise of these cars. That's when they went down into Kielder, so they had some tarmac on Charter Hall at the start, and then they would fall down into Kielder, have a night through Kielder, and then come back up into Charter Hall in the morning, and just masses of people would go out all night and eaten by midges. But you know, that was part of it, and it's still a great atmosphere, and just it's great.
It is great, and if you're wondering who you're listening to, well, you shouldn't need any introduction, but if you do, that is Louise Aitken-Walker. We're delighted to have Louise joining us for this first stage of the day. Edsum, our 1990 FIA Ladies World Rally Champion, the first ever British driver to achieve a World Rally title, and she's here with us on the Jim Clark, her local rally, by the side of the stage, enjoying this action. Nigel Worswick, who we saw through just a minute ago in that S2000 Turbo Fiesta, he used to rally in the Escort Cosworth, the Sierra Cosworth, around the same time that you were in the Sierra, I believe.
Yeah, I saw him last night and I thought, God, he must be really old now. But anyway,
I can't wait for Nigel Worswick to watch this back and be like, oh, Louise Aitken-Walker's going to mention me. Oh.
No,
He looks really old, actually.
Does he? Oh.
Yeah, he is. He's had a hard paper around, this Nigel Worswick. He's too much holidaying in the Caribbean for Rally Barbados.
Yeah, I'm not as cruel as you. I just said he was old. But anyway, he's driving very well and he's obviously enjoying himself. But he was one of the guys that obviously somebody caught him at last night, and you know, you do get frustrated and you do try and pull over as quick as you can, but it's nice to see him out, and he's enjoying it, you know, why not? It's like Roger Clark, he says, I love to drive, and I'm coming out to drive, and I'm not going to be the quickest anymore, I just want to drive. But you know, these people are expected to be winning these rallies. Let them come and have a bit of fun. They've done their championship, they've proved that they're overall winners, and some people just want to come and have a bit more fun, you know. It's inbred in them, they can't get out, and it was great to see Roger coming back out again, but he just did it for fun. It's like Nigel, you know, I'm sure Nigel will not say he's doing it for fun. He's having fun.
Absolutely. Well, Nigel Worswick was having fun right up until the point where Louise and I described him as we just did, but I'm sure he'll enjoy that anyway. Chris Ford. Sorry, I thought Chris Ford had come through earlier in the Citroen C3. He didn't, did he? He caught a car in the first stage last night. Michael Hendry alongside. There was a funny moment where you may be able to sympathise with your family being into rallying. James Ford was further up the leaderboard on these riding stages, the opening round, knocked his roof spoiler off the C3, pulled up in the regroup, and he insisted his dad give him his roof spoiler.
Oh, that's nice. You'd do everything for your kids, wouldn't you?
I think you had a choice. As you see Lee Hastings and Cole Hastings through in that Impreza, restarting the rally after, I'm not sure if they made it through to the end of the second stage last night. Paul Morris, did you follow that one? Because I did see them stopped after the stage by the car. They were stood by the car looking pretty grumpy.
They got through and got a notion of time, and fall back out again today.
Great stuff. It's good. With these two-day rallies, there is the chance to do that. Are we looking at stage times here, or are we looking at overall championship times, Paul? Tell me what you're looking at. Well, Ollie Hunter has definitely become the hunter there, hasn't he? He's taken how much out of Michael Harbour?
16 seconds.
So, yeah, 0.2 of a second between. I did say it looked like there was less than 30 seconds gap between them on the road here in this first stage of today. Michael Harbour, 0.2 of a second in front of Ollie Hunter. Battle of the Escorts in B11 coming into this stage, but Ollie has now taken 16 out of Michael Harbour. I'm sure that that story is not yet run here on the Jim Clark, though. We will see more from that pair today. I'm pretty sure of that. Don't forget, by the way, there is a chance for you to win a fantastic prize. It's the first time that Jason Pritchard's Focus WRC has ever rolled over, and I'm pleased to say it's only as a model car, because it didn't get won on the Manx Rally. Sorry, Paul, for that crass reference there. But you could win the rally-models.co.uk model of Jason Pritchard's Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship winning Focus WRC by predicting your top 3. Now, we're keeping it simple, top 3 on the rally. And you've got to do that in this live stream. So comment under here with your top 3 for the overall rally wins, second and third. And hopefully somebody will win that Jason Pritchard model. And I don't want to give too much of a spoiler, but we've got something very special for Louise to sign for us today, that you'll be able to perhaps win in a short period of time, which will be fantastic, as you see a man who has been having an absolute ball this weekend. Bit of a rough one for him on the banks in that Rally 2 Fiesta. Still getting to grips with that car, Mike English. He, in his words, Donna spoke to him last night, mega stage. He did have a problem on stage 1. He couldn't select reverse when he went into the hairpin. People think these cars are easy to drive, Louise. I mean, I've never driven a Rally 2 Fiesta. I don't think you have either, but you've been closer to it than I have. They are difficult to drive, aren't they? There's a lot of technology in them.
There is, but I mean, you know, it's like once you get used to the car, it's not a problem.
That's the thing, though, they're not spending the time in them, are they?
Yeah, well, they can. You know, these are high spec cars, expensive cars, and they go out and they don't do as much testing as we used to do. But yeah, they are technical.
Sam Cox, Paul Brown really pushing on there, clattering underneath of that car coming up to the first of the jumps here in Edsom. It's a very different spectacle in the dark. What we were noticing, Louise, in the dark you can't get away with anything. You could tell who was bouncing around and catching the underneath of the car on the inside because there were sparks following the cars. As you see Barry Renwick, Steve Dargan through in their Mark II. Looking for Mark Holmes and Mark Perryman, who will be through the stage next, I believe. Good night from them last night for the first 2 stages. Long for Macca's 2 11.9 mile stages last night to kick the rally off, and due to a delay in the first stage, which I've got to say was handled very professionally by the rally organisers. Bit of a medical incident, I'm sad to say, for a spectator, very professionally handled, but as a result of that, a lot of the competitors who were expecting to do at least the first stage in daylight didn't, and you get away with a lot less when it's dark. As I say, Jeff Roberts and Graham Wild through there in their glorious historic RS 1800. I was talking to Matt Jackson, who's done this rally 4 times in recent years, Louise, last night, who joined us, and he'd wandered around the service area, and he made a very good point. You can't find a badly prepared rally car these days in a rally service area, can you?
No, it's not like the old days. You know, you just threw things together, got them through scrutineering, and then off you go.
You were a works driver, you didn't. Some people did.
No, you have to start from you know, when you started off, it was like that. But these are, everybody's taken so much pride in building these old cars, and they are worth a fortune. And they bring them out to pristine condition, and they're beautiful to look at, you know, lovely.
And lovely variety as well. You've got everything from old Datsun Sunnies, and that was perfect timing there, wasn't it? Old Datsun Sunnies through to you know, modern spec WRC machinery. It's quite the spectacle.
Was it Andy Dawson that used to drive the Datsuns? Yeah, God, that was a long time ago. But anyway, yeah, they're out. You know, when the rally, when you get later on the numbers and later down the entry list, you see all these old cars coming and you never know what's coming. Like they've got your Datsun, you've had, you know, the old Novas, and yeah, it's great to see them out.
And that was Phil Morton as well in that Datsun Sunny, who's co-driving obviously for Callum Black. His son, sorry, Jack, is co-driving for Callum Black. Yeah, Andy Dawson went on to, I always get Clan Crusaders into this because I've got an old 1972 Clan Crusader, and Andy Dawson came famously second on the Manx behind Roger Clark, and I don't think he ever came to the Jim Clark, but Clans were quite formidable back in the day.
I can't remember these cars, to be honest. Were they there in my day?
Stop laughing, Paul Morris. At least I still got Clans mentioned. No, they were a little bit before your time, Louise. I think in '79 you broke into the sport, didn't you, with the Finder Rally Start?
I did. It was
1972 and 1973 here.
Oh no, that was way before my time. I was hardly into double figures then. Anyway.
And just tell us, because I know a lot of people know this story, but it was a bit of a not reluctant, but almost surprise way into the sport for you, because your brothers entered you into a Finder Rally Start competition, didn't they?
Yeah, they were interested in motorsport. You know, I was always on horses, and they found a competition, Find a Lady Rally Driver, in the Motoring News, and they put my name down, entered it, and of course it all stemmed from there. We got taken to Glasgow, we had test days, and it just rolled on, and to end up a world champion was just a fairy tale story.
Can you imagine when you first climbed into that competition car thinking you would be the first ever British driver to win a world title? That's incredible.
Well, thank you, but no, I never ever thought that. You know, I always try to take it a day at a time. You take every day as it comes, you know, you just climb that ladder as best you can, and we're a competitive family through and through. You know, my granddad was a world champion. He was a curler world champion, and I thought, oh, all right, there. And then I've got a sister that's a world champion. She was a world champion hill runner. You know, and she was in the elite class. She was 60s, I think, under 60s. But I mean, she's just like a rat up a drain pipe, as they would say. She was incredible. So I mean, a family in 3 generations to have 3 world titles. You know, we are a competitive family.
You did get the recognition when your career ended, because you got the MV, you got the Seagrave Award, which is a prestigious award. As see Adrian Spencer go past us, unfortunately you won't see Jonathan Stepney and Aled Davies. They retired last night. Car just not right, Aled was reporting last night, so they've pulled out. So you did get the recognition at the time. I mean, you thought, people like Lewis Hamilton, Sterling Moss have won that. Amy Johnston for Land, Sea and Air, the Seagrave Award. So, you know, to have done what you did, and we talked about ladies in motorsport earlier. I know my 15-year-old Mason did one of his GCSE projects on women in motorsport, and the story is very similar now. There's no reason why there shouldn't be more doing it, but you campaigned and you really pioneered that, and to have the first ever British world title to be a woman that's quite significant, isn't it?
There's always been females in motorsport. You know, you've got Rosemary Smith, you go back, Pat Moss, but back in the days, and Pat Moss was a brilliant driver. You know, she got great credit from the men, and it was just being a, how can I say it, you know, just to prove to people that you can compete with men at the same level. And yeah, we did it. We got some really good overall results, and it's all stopped this crack about lady drivers now. People don't say that anymore because they know that, you know, we've got now a bit of respect because we know we can match the men. Excuse me, it's the dust and coming off this. It's nice to see dust, actually.
Nathan Weird and Ethan Thompson through there in their Fiesta ST. You must have seen Neil Weirden competing on these roads. Quite a formidable challenger in particularly the F2 era. Good to see generations like your own, generations of families enjoying the sport and actually doing very well. Nathan's getting faster and faster in that Fiesta. You sometimes see the names, don't you, on the list? And you were sat with Max McRae last night talking of generations.
Oh, absolutely. I did feel sorry for Max last night. I mean, Max is the 3rd generation of McRae's, and you know he's got bless him a lot to live up to, and I think
That's glorious. Max, isn't it?
He's got a lot to live up to, and I think Max has certainly got potential. I saw him one of his clips last night on his mobile phone, and I thought, yeah, oh, you've got it, you know. So he just needs to get a good run, a bit of good luck, and car to run well. Unfortunately, last night he broke a drive shaft. Well, you can't do anything, and the car was unfit to carry on this morning. Although he was on the start list, the car just didn't make it, so it was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a frustrating night for Max. The car was still in gravel trim just a few minutes before they were due to actually go out and start the stage. Jimmy McRae's granddad, the legend himself, who I believe is just called Louise, actually, as we're talking about the McRae's. Jimmy McRae just on the phone, as you do. Jimmy was walking around the service area looking very nervous last night. Was that Jimmy McRae on the phone just then?
Yeah, it was actually. How bizarre was that? But anyway, he's just wondering where we are, so he's going to come out and watch today. I think I've managed to, Jimmy's going to do the prize giving with myself tonight, so that'll be nice and square tonight, about 4 o'clock, is it? What time is it? Yeah.
So if you do want to, that's in Duns, isn't it?
Yes, if you do want to come and see Jimmy and get a photograph with Jimmy.
And Louise Aiken-Walker.
I'm local. But yeah, he's going to come down and do the prize giving with me tonight, so that'll be good.
And I said last night I was gutted I couldn't get to the start, because one of my favourite spectacles in British rallying is Duns Town Centre for the start of the Jim Clark. It's not quite the same, we haven't got a stage in the start, Louise, but the atmosphere, it was 10 deep last year, and you could barely see rally cars, you just had to listen out for them.
I must say, Duns Square is absolutely beautiful, and the atmosphere last night, you know, the heart of Duns runs all these, runs the volunteer hall, and people go there, and they all get together and they go and do the gardens, and you know, make it so lovely, and well done them, and it just shows last night that it is very much appreciated, because Duns was amazing last night, and it just gives you a wee buzz, and you're so proud.
You should be. I love coming to Duns. Dunk Vincent, who is a Scottish commentating legend, presenter legend, he was in Duns last night, and he said that there was a fantastic atmosphere. He sent me a picture of the big screen in Duns, because we had the coverage on, and it just looked like a bit of a party. In fact, I was a bit disappointed I was stuck in the state. I kind of wanted to go back to Duns and enjoy the party.
Well, you should have done, because I think the party went on till late into the early hours in the morning.
I didn't get out of the stage till 2 a.m.
Yeah, well, I never got to bed till 2:30. I was just reminiscing with Jimmy and Max and telling stories, and it was good to get, old times. It was fun. But anyway, I'll sleep tonight, shall we say.
I think I will as well, especially after the 4.5 hour drive back. Dave McIntyre, Cameron Dunn in their C2 R2 Max. I always say this, it's become a bit of a thing on this coverage, but I was talking to Matt Jackson about it yesterday as well. Where have all the C2 R2s gone? They are fantastic cars, and they went so well on lanes like these not so long ago. I just managed to get a bit of gravel bounce off my face there, which I wasn't expecting to do by the side of a tarmac stage, but we're talking about marginal gains, and there are some very canny cuts to be made on these roads if you want to make up those marginal gains, aren't there? But there are some that you really don't want to cut.
Yeah, this is another thing, the people that know these roads, there is a lot of time to make up, but you've just got to keep concentrating and keep at it. Yeah, there's no slackening here, because they're not forgiving these roads. They take you by surprise, and if you're not on the ball, you snooze, you lose. Is that what they say? And it's a bit like this. These roads are brilliant to drive in. Coming up to the top of Duns. In fact, where we are now, it's a famous called Jock's Hole, and it's very bad bumps down here, and so it's caution all round. But on the far hill there, we see the start. You see the cars parked up at Duns, and that's where the start is, and they just meander all the way through, down through Edram, up by the bungalow and along here, and it's a fast stage, this, but the bumpier stage is at Ayton, and they're going to have to be really on the ball there, because it's quite hard. That's seriously hard to drive.
So they've got 7 miles through here in Edron. Then they're at Ayton that Louise just mentioned. That's just over 7.2 miles. Then they're over to Fogo, 7.3 miles. And then we repeat that in the afternoon. So they'll know what to expect. Talking to Jamie Vaughan, although you said caution all the way in here, he's co-driving for Brad Cole. You saw how fast that blue and white Mark II Escort was, but he said it's also very flat.
It is very fast, very, very fast. And do you know, it's fine for the first runners, but then when they cut the corners, they bring the gravel into the middle of the road. So when you're going around the corner, you can easily skid on the gravel. You've got to be cautious there. You really have got to be on the ball. Oh, here's a nice little Renault. No, it's not. What was that? Skoda.
Skoda, yeah. It's actually a Skoda-Roo. It's a Subaru underneath. Chris Thompson there in that Mark 1 with Ron Ruffhead alongside, a very experienced co-driver in that Mark 1, as you say, catching a Skoda-Roo.
They're coming thick and fast now.
30-second intervals doesn't leave a lot of margin for any kind of error if you don't want someone following, hunting you down. Alistair Stables there and Neil Jones in that Chevette. That's a great looking car to see in these lanes. And talking about Jimmy McRae, a car that he'll like to see out here, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He had some results in his Vauxhall, didn't he? But you know, we're maybe 5 miles into the stage, so you will be getting people caught up. And what I was saying before, you know, they come through this so quickly. You forget your stories, but anyway, yeah, there's another immaculate car, absolutely pristine.
Bruce McCombie, Terry McCombie alongside in that Mark II. A word as well, Louise, for all the volunteers that help to make this event happen, because there's an awful lot of work that goes in behind the scenes, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
Hard on the brakes before the jumps.
Yeah.
I heard you say it was caution all the way.
Well, he's maybe a bit too cautious there, but anyway, he's obviously, you never know. You never know if he's a youngster starting up or whatever. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Yeah, but what were you saying before about
The volunteers and the marshals and everybody, all the work that goes in behind the scenes.
Absolutely. I mean, they'll put on Sunday the rally will finish, but they'll all start their work again for the following year. You know, it's relentless what they do. Honestly, it takes so much organisation, and you know, to keep the spectators safe is their priority. And, you know, you want to get close to the action, but to be safe as well is most important, because you know it can stop a stage. But hopefully we'll not have any of that problem this year.
No, hopefully not. Luis Alberto Perez is joining us from Tenerife. Who's that from, Paul? Someone's got a video of Andy Dawson for me.
I sent it to you.
Okay, fantastic. We've got a video of Andy Dawson, hopefully in a Clan Crusader, on the Jim Clark. That'd be nice. Here's one for you, Louise. Somebody, Pete Fowler says, get your microphone out of the wind. Can you see anywhere without any wind around here?
No, absolutely not. It's windy. Paul's just...
Gavin Spencer, just to confirm, if you want to win the prize, it's for the overall rally top 3. We thought it would keep it simple. Overall rally top 3. If you guess it correctly on this stream only, predict your top 3. And if you predict it correctly, you will go in the draw to win that rally-models.co.uk Jason Pritchard Focus WRC. What are you showing us, Paul Morris?
It's the Welsh Rally 82. Jimmy had a big accident on Epping, and there was 10-year-old me wanting Jimmy's autograph.
Fantastic. You don't look very happy, Paul. But look at those rally jackets.
Yeah, and look at me in my old partner.
Yeah. These Rothmans rally jackets now, I went down to Race Retro, and God, they're selling for about 200 quid. And I said, I'll have to go into the attic to see where all mine are.
Fantastic. I'd like to see you out in a Castrol or Rothman's rally jacket next time, Louise.
Do you remember the red, white and blue British Leyland one?
Yes. You got one of those, Paul?
I would like one, because they would, like Louise says, they'd be worth a fair bit of dollars.
They are worth a fair bit of money.
The one that really got me was the Esso, the white Esso ones, the pure white. Imagine having a white jacket on in a rally car. Anyway, I had tiny little blue and red stripes down the sleeves, and I thought that was my first rally jacket. I thought it was the bee's knees. But how fashion has changed now.
No matter what rally jacket you're wearing, we all think you're still the bee's knees, Louise. James Coburn is enjoying himself. What a rally, he says. Just imagine the WRC using these roads. Well, it's about as close as you're going to get at the minute with no WRC round here. So watching works drivers in works cars, and that's how it should be. in the British Rally Championship, of course. Nathan Shaw's got his prediction in for the top 3. Kyle Gass is giving a shout out to car 80, the first outing in their new R5. We were talking about different people in different cars. Ben Lawrence watching with us. A shout out to Chris Hosey as well. Little, he's not little anymore. He was when he first started out. Young man who's joining us in service, and he's going to be sending some information over to help us with the live stream later on. Good to have you out here on the gym car, Chris. I know you enjoy this event. Ashley Curtis. Hello to you. Dawn Roskell. Good to have you with us, Dawn. Neil's going well so far. He used to get the hammer down through the afternoon. Alec Clark has got his prediction in for the top 3 to win that Rally Models. Model of Jason Pritchard's Focus WRC. Heather Phelps enjoying the coverage. Says it's lovely to hear Louise with you. Loads of people loving the fact we've got Louise Aitken-Walker out with us on the coverage this morning. Good to have you with us if you're watching in Duns. And if you're going to be there for the finish later, you'll be able to meet Louise and Jimmy McRae as well, as she just mentioned, who'll be giving the prizes out at the finish around between 3 and 4 o'clock for the first cars getting back into Duns. Do get there if you can, because the atmosphere and the spectacle is something else. It's something you'll like to say that you did. Who else have we got here? Glenn Irving, good to have you with us. Malgozia. Dean Roskell, come on, Roski. Yeah, that's a sentiment we could all get behind. Come on, Roski. Ben Lawrence has got his, young photographer has got his prediction in for Mo Cronin Thorburn. Ben's actually, I think you're watching from home, aren't you, Ben? Because your father, Paul, had to go and cover a race event somewhere. Glenn Irvin's cheering on his dad in car 102, 70 years old in 1 month, Louise. His dad in car 102, Glenn Irvin. That's some going, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, 72 was he?
70 in 2 months old.
Pardon. Well, we were just talking about old drivers last night. I'm sure I shouldn't be saying this, but you know, Jimmy celebrates a big birthday in October. Now I'll just let you guess, because I daren't say that over the radio or over the whatever, the air, as they say. So have a guess. No, he's not 90.
80.
I said 90. He's not 90.
Paul Morris said 90.
Paul Morris, I will be there at the finish tonight, because he'll probably...
That's Nigel Worswick and Jimmy McRae with Upset on today's coverage.
Yeah, anyway, he's looking very well on it, I'll tell you. He's
for 90.
Yeah, but don't say that, yeah. He's going out to Castle Coombe at the end of the month, where we're all going down, and we've got cars to drive for Pauline Gallick, and that's a really good weekend.
What are you driving?
I don't know yet. It's a surprise. That's what Pauline does to us.
Your cars or something random?
No, it'll be a random car. They're all organised for us, and the owners are very kindly giving them to us.
Say that, they'll be delighted to have a World Rally Champion inside their rally car. Imagine getting a World Rally Champion to drive your rally car. Have you got any of your old rally cars, Louise? I meant to ask this last time we met.
My husband bought me a rally car, my Group 1 car, and it was very nice. It was lovely to have, but you know, we're starting up in the garage. We needed the money to, so we sold the car, and it was sad sale, but you know, what do you do?
Do you know where any of them are?
Yeah, I know where there's quite a few, because they keep on phoning up and saying, now what colour was this, and how did you have it? Where can I get a sticker that's got, you know, the old MCD stickers that came into RED? They wanted these stickers, but nowadays you can just get them made up. But
that's fantastic, though, that people are that fussed on making sure the details are right.
Yeah, but this is what we're saying, you know, you walk in that service area yesterday and see these immaculate cars. That's how proud these people are. They'll go to the earth to get the best. To turn it out, yeah.
Sarah Hunter, Ian Robson there in their Peugeot 205, a car that you have a lot of memories of.
Yeah, well done, Sarah. She was going well there. 205's a lovely car. I loved it. Was that?
Yes. Karen Tate Logan.
Yeah, so we're having all the ladies together. That's what they do, don't they? They just put all the ladies together. Anyway, they're having a good battle today. And then we've got Ashley coming very soon. So have we any other ladies in?
We've got Paula Swinscoe in with David Wright. Now you're testing me, aren't you? We've got, come on, Paul Morris. Jane Nichol, of course, who's in with Archie Swinscoe.
Claire Mole, yeah, they're all co-drivers, so I was thinking drivers. So we've got 3 lady drivers in this event.
Yeah, oh no, you know what we're going to do now? We're going to miss one that's quite notable. They're all notable, but we're going to miss one now. He'll be even more upset than Nigel Worswick is about what we said about how old he looks.
That's your fault. That's your job, Dookie.
Paul Morris, I'm blaming you. I'm throwing you under the bus if we've missed anyone there. But no, joking aside, we in this sport are very lucky to have a lot more of a mixed contingent compared to some sports, aren't we? And I know that's something that's close to your heart. And actually, I won't give any spoilers, but watch this space because there are some plans afoot, probably made around a coffee table at 2 o'clock this morning. But it would be good to see some really good news stories across the world in motorsport for lady drivers.
Yeah, well, actually, just wait about a year, and you might see something a bit special. We're working on it. It's a big secret at the minute, but I have told you, and you're enthusiastic about it, so I hope you keep it quiet until it happens. So here goes.
Will, and I am enthusiastic about it. And I think to have people like yourself as an ambassador for the sport with what you've done in your career, but to still be as involved as you are and happy to give up your time doing things like this. I mean, people, just the comments of people watching the live stream, realising they've tuned in and they don't have to listen to me droning on. They get Louise Aiken-Walker talking. They're loving it.
Oh, well, that's really kind of them. I'm so happy, and I'll have to do it. You know, all these people are out there, the marshals, that out in all weathers, and you do. You know, I'm going to an awards night for the marshals in February, and I do everything I can because they have put hours and hours standing in cold weather for me, and it's now payback time, and I'm more than happy to do it.
I love that. And you had John Clone as well turning up in Marshall's clothes last year doing some marshalling.
Yeah. But no, nobody would argue with John Cleland.
Ashley Morris just went past us there.
Well, she was going well. That was good.
Yeah, in that Fiesta R200, she had a really big off on. What rally was it she went off on? It was, I think it was one of the Scottish rallies. She had a really big do earlier in the year. So she's back. That's the first time she's been back in that R200.
She's actually got a major sponsor this year called 3 Brand Design. And I'm working with them at the minute. They're from Edinburgh, but the guy lives in Duns. And it's a big bonus to have a sponsorship like that. So good on her. I hope she flies the flag well for them.
It's really good to have sponsors, and we appreciate them, and it's why when we've mentioned the Jim Clark.
Here's somebody coming right up behind, but he's got no lights on, and this poor driver can't see, you know. He needs to get the lights on. Junction is, I think they put bales there, so it'll be quite hard for them to pull over or overtake. So
Colin Irving in the Sunbeam, we were just talking about that. That's the man who's 70 in 2 months' time in that Sunbeam ahead, and then Ian Hildreth in the Ford Escort in front. But it is difficult. You can't see. You're down low. The seats are big these days. You've got your hands device on.
yeah, absolutely. You know, it's difficult, but if you just keep an eye in the mirror, and then you'll not get a disgruntled. Actually, was he not in the front? Yeah.
So
He'll just be getting warmed up, you know, because it's only 5 miles into the first day. So here's something with an indicator. He must have had a wee problem.
well, sometimes they just catch them, don't they? And back in the 90s when you were competing in your Astra, the indicator stalks were a lot closer to your knees than they are in a modern rally car. So the amount of times you see rally drivers with indicators on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in the old days, as I say, the old days. I used to drive and I thought, I'll not wear any gloves. Why is everybody needing gloves? Oh my dear, you need gloves because you're knocking all these buttons and you're bending, you know, hurting your fingers, and you need the gloves because the steering wheels now are like suede, and when they go through your hand, they can burn your hands and you get blisters. And you wouldn't have thought, oh, here's the classic Land Rover. Sorry, I'm like,
The Army Land Rovers, these guys just keep it lit, don't they?
look at that. I mean, he's not holding back, is he? He's just flat out over that jump. That is so big.
These things bounce and they've got steering boxes. It's like stirring a bowl of porridge. To give you a rundown then of our Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship leaderboard after this third stage of the rally, the first stage of day 2 here on Beatson's Building Supplies Jim Clark Rally. Always important to mention our sponsors here on these events. Elliot Payne, Tom Woodburn lead the way. 2.9 seconds the advantage over Callum Black and Jack Morton. No, I won't repeat that. I think they were talking about me, Louise. Louise has a bit of fan mail coming through here to her phone. Elliot Bates on the fence, 2.9 seconds in the lead of this rally. Callum Black, Jack Morton behind and in a real chasing position. James Ford, Neil Shanks, who were fastest through this stage, fastest of all of the crews, including the BRC, including that works driver in the works car, Adrian Formo, who led the way last night. James Ford, Neil Shanks moving up to third place now, 11 seconds back from Callum Black. David Henderson, Chris Lees, who won the opening round, need some points on the board here, just 7 back from them. There's a little bit of a gap back to David Wright, Paula Swinscoe in 5th. Then it's Neil Roskell, Andrew Ruppert coming in leading the championship, and they need a good haul of points to continue that charge. 14 seconds back from David Wright in the R5 car. Steve Simpson, Patrick Walsh just feeling their way back into things. Not quite on Steve's usual pace, but after that incident last time out on the Manx, just want to get through to the finish and get that car through in one piece and build the pace as they go. I think that's fair to say. 6 seconds back on the similar Rally 2 Fiesta. Hugh Brunton, Drew Sturrock, who join us in the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship for this round, getting some points onto their campaign. Just under a minute back in 8th place, a top 10 position for them from now. And the first of our two-wheel drive cars at the moment, Jerry Fitzel, Mark Mason, they've come on really strong so far. Cracking performance from them in 9th place, although the time looks like there might be a couple of penalties added on which have not yet played through into the leaderboard. At the moment, Jerry Fitzel, Mark Mason in that Rothmans style Mark II Escort, 9th place. Darren Atkinson, Mark Twynham coming on strong in 10th. John Stone, Laura Connell just outside the top 10 in 11th, as you see the British Army Land Rover competitors coming through this first stage of the day. Edram, Joe McCann, Charlotte McDowell, the lady competitor we missed off, yep. And William Hill, Richard Crozier, Simon Bowen, rounding out the results that I have so far here on the results.djames.org.uk. Laura Connell is in with John Stone. See, we've got an actual, quite a lot of lady competitors, formidable, notable lady competitors with us here on the Jim Clark, which is fantastic to see. Oh, here we go. Now you really are making me look bad here, Paul. But
Laura's husband, Derek, is working on Neil Roskell's cars.
Oh, is he? A real family affair there as well. Well, we're getting towards the end of the entry on this first stage of day 2 of the Beatson's Building Supplies Jim Clark Rally. This is round 4 of the Protyre Motorsport UK Asphalt Rally Championship, and the action well underway. We're going to have more action for you through the second running of this Edsom stage. We're going to move to Edram stage, so we're going to move to a different location for the second live stream, which producer Wayne will be around what time of the day? But just past 12 o'clock. Louise Aitken-Walker's been doing her research.
Is it not 12:20 or something?
It is, yeah. And then make sure, if you are in this neck of the woods, you go back to Duns. Don't just dash off home. Go back to Duns for the finish and meet Louise and Jimmy McRae as well as they give the prizes out and sample the atmosphere down there. Louise Aitken-Walker, I'm always delighted to meet you. It's a privilege to have you on this live stream, and everyone's absolutely loved that. Thank you for joining us and giving us a bit of an insight. And thank you for being so passionate about the sport we all love.
Well, it is. I do love it, and I'll always love it. And I tried to get my daughter into it, and it's great. And it's great to see all these people out here, and they love it. They love it. It's just buzzing. It's just like being a big kid again, isn't it?
What a note to end on. And you haven't heard the last of the Aitken-Walker name in rallying. You heard it here first. Watch out for that bit of news in the coming months. Thank you for joining us for this stage. We'll be back live with you in, well, just over an hour's time. Enjoy what's left of your Saturday morning, this bank holiday weekend. I hope you've got bright sunshine like we have, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you for tuning in.